positive thought in the morning can change our entire day. So, let us start this session with a positive thought. Hello and good morning to all. First of all, I praise the Almighty God who has given me the opportunity to welcome all the dignitaries present here. Next, I, Mrs. M. Kavita, Assistant Professor in Physical Science, on behalf of Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University and VOC College of Education, wholeheartedly welcome all the participants for the fourth day of the webinar. A friendly welcome to you, dear participants. To establish true self esteem, we must concentrate on our successes and forget about the failures and the negatives in our lives. As to it, next I welcome Dr. M. Senthil Kumaran, Assistant Professor in Educational Technology, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Chennai, who is going to introduce our resource person to the participants. I welcome you, sir. The fragrance of flowers spread only in the direction of the wind, but the goodness of a person spreads in all directions. Amidst us, we have such an inspiring personality, Dr. V. Sridevi, Head and Associate Professor of Chemistry, Lady Doak College, Madurai, who is going to speak about teachers as the leaders. We are fortunate to have you with us this morning as a chief guest. I extend an affable welcome to you, ma'am. Gratitude is the most exquisite form of courtesy. As to it, next I welcome Mrs. P. Priya, Assistant Professor in English, who is going to deliver a vote of thanks in her style. I welcome you, ma'am. Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out. As to it, next I welcome Dr. S. Davashubha, Assistant Professor in Mathematics, who is going to run the whole program in a successful manner. I welcome you, ma'am. In the world of internet, it's important to remember your competitor is only one mouse click. As to it, we welcome Dr. S. Anthony Vinolia, Assistant Professor in History, for her technical support throughout the program. I welcome you, ma'am. Once again, I welcome everyone wholeheartedly. Welcome to this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavita ma'am. Thank you. Now it's time to introduce our resource person. It gives me immense pleasure to invite our professor from Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Dr. M. Sendil Kumaran, Assistant Professor in Educational Technology. Sir, over to you.
Good morning, one and all. I feel delighted in introducing our today's resource person, who is none other than Dr. V. Sridevi. She is an assistant professor and heading the Department of Chemistry in Lady Doak College, Madurai. She was the recipient of Summer Visiting Teacher Research Fellowship of the Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore during 2005. She was invited as a teacher member of the Science Education Panel of Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore during 2005 and 6. She was the coordinator of MSc Nanosciences program supported by UGC under 11th Plan Innovative Program Scheme during 2011 and 14. She was the mentor of DST Inspire Activities. She did her undergraduate program and post-graduation in chemistry at Madurai Kamaraj University, Madurai. She holds her PhD from IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. She has 19 years of teaching and research experience in the field of chemistry. Her area of interest was nanomaterials, nanocomposites, electrochemical sensors. As an additional credit to her name, she has 9 publications. She has presented many research papers in the reputed journals as well as national and international seminars and conferences. She has completed one major research project and one minor research project under UGC scheme worth rupees 12 lakhs in 2018 and rupees 35,000 in 2003 respectively. She has completed an international module on global leadership training program at Boston College, USA as a selected fellow of United Board for Christian Higher Education in Asia during July 2016 and also attended the leadership seminar at Singapore as the selected fellow of the same in Asia during June 2017. She has also completed 2 months educational program on understanding the higher education at Seoul Women's University, Seoul, South Korea. during October to December 2016. With this note, I conclude my speech. Thank you all for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Before the session starts, I request all our participants to turn off your video and mute your microphone for proper reception. We will post the feedback link at the end of the session, and we request our participants to post their questions in the chat box. Now I hand over the session to our resource person, Dr. Sri Devi ma'am. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, yeah, now I can see you, ma'am.
Are you able to see me?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. A warm good morning to all of you, all the participants. I see 107 participants. At the outset, I extend my thanks to the organizers, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University members, and VOC College faculty members for jointly organizing this wonderful program, the online enrichment program for teachers, holistic development of teachers. So I'm very happy to be a part of this FDP program and to share my knowledge with a given topic. Actually, it was selected by me because teaching is really a passion for me, and therefore I chose the topic teacher as a leader. Okay, so I'm indeed very happy to share my experience as a teacher with you and try to share my little knowledge maybe I have gained for the past nearly 21 years actually. That 19 years was 2 years back. Now I would like to start with my presentation. Hope you are able to see my presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll just go. Yeah, I'll go to So teacher as a leader, right? A fantastic topic to share with. Dear participants, I am in the field of higher education for the past 21 years. I thank Dr. Senthil Kumar for his nice introduction, and also Davasuba and others for giving an overview of today's topic. But Dr. Senthil Kumar also gave one point that I completed my PhD at IIT Madras. And also I'm doing I also pursue my research in the field of nanomaterials. And I also done a lot of other work related to chemistry, science, nanomaterials, nanoscience, and other administrative responsibilities. All those things in the past 21 years. Apart from being a teacher in a classroom. And you know, friends, of all the multiple roles that I have done, the one role that is very close to my heart, or the one particular role where I have identified myself fully, or I got satisfied fully with what I'm doing, is nothing but within the course, me as a teacher. So that's why I very happily accepted when Dr. Lakshmi Shanmugam approached me that whether I could address to a gathering, a teacher's gathering. Because in Meridov College, in the beginning of every year, we have an orientation program for all the fresh recruits. And again in our college, they give me this topic, how to be an effective teacher in a classroom. And I have been doing that since 2011, and I should thank my management and the principals for giving me such a wonderful opportunity for so many years. That's because it drives me, the pleasure and the passion that drives me to say anything or talk something about teacher is really high. And today I'm very happy that I'm able to address more than 100 and odd teachers here. And if you could take one little information from my experience or from my little knowledge as a teacher, I'll be very grateful and thankful to my profession. So, who is a leader? That, yeah, everybody knows. We have our own definitions: different, transformative leader, influential leader, democratic leader, autocratic leader. Okay. For a moment, we will remove the word teacher. We'll just adhere to only leader. You forget about the word teacher, just adhere to the word leader. According to me, I was attracted towards the simple definition rather than very big definitions or jargons or very attractive statements. A leader is a person who influences a group of people towards the achievement of a goal. Okay, goal. So this attracted me more than anything else as a leader. Probably you can also have your own definition. Now, therefore, I just wanted to make the session a little bit interactive in the beginning, and also in between I'll just try my hand. Now let us do an exercise, okay? All of you be ready with your smartphones or laptops, computers or whatnot, okay? So now, let's see. Yeah, I hope you are able to see my screen. Okay, you just go to this site quickly, this www.menti.com, and then you will get a message to enter the code. You just enter the code and just answer my question. Mention one important leadership quality, please. Then you can come to the Google Meet screen. Hope all of you are doing that. This is an interactive app. Go to this, use the code, type the code 63941 in the box they provide, and the same question will appear. You submit your answer. Yes, you submit your answer.
Ma'am, actually, participants are answering in the chat box. We don't have such facilities in this, ma'am.
No, they have to open a new window, Google window.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. They will. Someone has answered. You can. Ma'am, can you see the chat box, or do you want me to read it, ma'am?
No. Yeah, somebody has given the answer. Way of speaking. So communication, like this, I think all of you can try. Only one person has entered and given the answer. Inspire others. Hope I should get 1 or 6 words on the screen, one after the other. You just see what happens as everybody types and submits. So you have to open another Google window and then go type this website, www.menti.com, and use the code and give your answer.
Ma'am, so many has answered here. Listen to others, one who guides, commitment.
No, that's okay. The screen is fine. Later I will just look into it. No problem. Okay. So shall we wait for 1 minute and then go to the screen?
Yes, please, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just got a few answers on the screen, and I got answers on the chat box. I think Dr. Lakshmi was sharing. That's fine. So whatever that comes to your mind, that is very that you are very familiar with, you have listed it as an important leadership quality for yourself. I mean, what you want to be or what you have seen in others, you have given it. I think that's fine. So, okay, now where are the teachers in this particular scenario? leadership scenarios, or teachers, leaders. So do you think that to be a leader, do we need a power, position, or an office room, or some accomplishment? Okay. So if that is the definition for being a leader, then teachers, not every teacher cannot be a leader. Okay. So now I am teacher. If I say that only after becoming the head of the department, I am a leader, then it's not right. According to my definition, every teacher is a leader. Every teacher is a leader. So even before becoming the head of the department, I felt the leader within me. And that's what we are now going to see. So I think there are 100 and odd teacher participants, maybe those who are in the profession already, senior persons, younger ones, and those who are doing your teacher education program, everybody is here. So according to my definition, all teachers are leaders or can become leaders in your own way when we qualify ourselves. So there's no need that we don't go and get certified by somebody else and come back. No, that is not. We need to certify ourselves. We need to certify ourselves by developing certain inherent qualities to consider ourselves as a leader in this teacher role. Okay, that's what we are going to see now. So, and to understand that, we need to just a quick review of the role of a teacher, how it evolved from so many thousands and thousands of years back in Indian scenarios. So in those days, we would have heard about the Gurukul system, right? Gurukul, wherein the Guru will be on stage and Sishyas will be, the students will be on, they'll be listening to the sage on stage. And you know, there is no written thing, nothing. It's an oral communication of the knowledge from the teachers to the students, brain to brain, direct. So the students were very attentive. They need to listen to the teacher for every second. And the teacher will be like an autocratic ruler in front of these students. If anybody even blinks the eye, he will be chucked out. He'll be given some punishment. So he was considered the great person in front of all students. And the students, if at all they want to know anything, they need to approach only the teacher, the sage, in those days, in the Gurukul period. So anything they want to know, anything they want to learn, understand, comprehend, they need to approach only this teacher. They don't have any book, they don't have any library or anybody else to find out the information. So it was only the teacher who was considered to be the all master of knowledge. Then slowly the system changed. The school education started coming, wherein school buildings were developed, classrooms were developed, and the teachers slowly. So the Gurukul times, the Guru was considered to be a great sculptor. He was just chiseling and polishing the qualities of a student. So he was considered to be a great sculptor. Now, later as years rolled, okay, the schooling system and the education system developed. Teachers then became a knowledge transfer agent. When the vernacular mode of vernacular media emerged, and then we have this printing facility and all those things came, and even palm writing, palm leaves, written materials, and then slowly printing media developed, and papers, print media, everything came inside. And therefore now you see the great difference. Earlier the knowledge was only stored within the brain of Guru. That's all. That is the storehouse. That is the information hub. And then after so many thousands of years, the knowledge has been transferred into some form. Library got developed. Libraries were developed. And somebody, if you want to know something, we can go to the library and read the book. And slowly the libraries become more and more developed. And actually, so I belong to, I was born in 1970s. So I know only books as a major resource for myself. The only facility that we had in our period was to photocopy. We can take a copy the book to another form and we can have it, own it ourselves. So photocopying facilities emerged so that we can have a copy for ourselves. So later we can read. But book was the only information hub in those days. Otherwise, we have to go to a learned person and find out. In chemistry, if I have a doubt, I should go only to my book, or if I don't have the book, a good book to refer or clarify my doubt, then I have to go to my teacher and ask whether I can get an answer for this question. That's all. That was a resource for me even, and many people who are in my age group. Then you imagine the 21st century boom. So technology boom, completely everything has turned and we are living in a totally different era. So no longer the teacher is a guru or a knowledge transfer agent or the most knowledgeable person, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Just a teacher is a facilitator. So a paradigm shift from the word teacher to facilitator. So even in our college, we don't say course teacher. We write as course facilitators. We are identified only as facilitators. What is the great difference between a teacher and a facilitator? We'll let you know. I'll let you know in the coming slide. Or they call the teacher as an educational manager. And in the nearby image, you see how it is slowly getting changed. Okay. The image also throws the same information. So now, see, who are these 21st century children? So the teacher definition is developed. Now when we come to the students, how the students are compared to the previous slide. Okay, just see this slide. The 21st century children. Yeah. Actually, this is an image showing some Western, is in a Western background. But this is all the more common, very, very common in Indian scenario also. That's something we should understand. So this is how our children are. We are right now at our home. So this is a very dramatic change in the field of education. And now the children, those who are having these devices and other things, they don't spend all the time for education. Okay, they do all kind of thing in this. So it has become a very necessary thing in our day-to-day life for everybody, right from children. So they can do anything. They are very skillful. These children are very skillful with this technology and the devices and all those things. Even now we learn so many things from our kids. Okay, so elderly people, they try to learn from their kids because they are very smart enough. So what are these? So these children, the digital natives who are born and brought up in this digital world, maybe after 2000 and so 20 years. Now, one who were born in, children who were born in around 2000 will be now 20 years old. We are now teaching those children. So they are in our classroom. So they are born and brought up with these digital devices. They are born and brought up with these digital devices. So they are digital natives. And therefore, there is a remarkable difference in the learning styles of these children. And therefore, the role of the teacher also should be changed in a remarkable way. Why? Now just I'm posing a question. What are the attributes of a 21st century learner? Generation Z, we call them, Gen Z. So what are the attributes? See the attributes, the characteristics of this generation. I want you to take your attention to the attributes of Generation Z. Digitally literate, multitasker. You will definitely agree with me. If it is wrong, you just tell me. You can just have your own children at home and think about these words. Crave interactivity. Please pay attention to this word. Crave interactivity. They are no longer the Sishyas who were listening to the guru for hours together in a day just to learn. So crave for interactivity, strong visual spatial skills, networks, tethered to internet, will easily adapt to emerging technologies. They all he or she wants to learn things that matter, very important, they will ask, okay, what is the use of this? Why am I studying this? Should I study? Should I not study? Will I get, if I study this, will I get a good job? Will I be able to earn money? No, they think a lot, not like you and me. I mean, I'm just addressing my own age group. Maybe younger children, younger participants, you may differ with me. Wants to be challenged, okay? So all these are very beautiful attributes of Generation Z. And this is the 21st century framework. So Generation Z in a 21st century framework. I want you to insert these two pictures within your mind. The environment, the world, the 21st century world and the student. And now how do we go as a teacher? That is where I'm trying to take you in. So what is a global framework? The framework is there's a global awareness. Okay, something happening in one corner of the world, we are now able to know the full details of it. Financial, economic, business, and entrepreneurship literacy, civic literacy, health and wellness awareness, whatnot. Everybody knows everything, okay, because of this information boom. And then in such a scenario, okay, so now how I have taken you to the concept of the present children, those who are born in 2020 and now, born in 2000 and now currently in the 2020 classroom. So what are their attributes and what is the current scenario of this world? Okay. Now, what about the scenario of our classroom? Okay. Now coming to our classroom. Maybe the traditional classroom is familiar to me or many of you, okay, in the age of 30s or 40s or 50s, okay, even 20s, we are familiar with this traditional classroom. The teacher will come inside, lecture, we call her as a lecturer in the college, in the school teacher, and the whole group, again, it's more or like a Gurukul system in a classroom. The teacher will stand in front of all the students, everybody will be sitting in the chair and will be writing, listening to the teacher, whether we like it or not, for the whole day, we'll be sitting and listening. Okay, and then the teacher, students, they will work independently. They go home, they do homework, come back, submit the homework notebook, get all punishments if they don't do it, all those things. And single tasking, that's what they do on their own. And it is a teacher-centered instruction and traditional instruction. Now, if we are going to carry out the same practice for the current children in the current scenario, I think we'll be doing a colossal damage to these children. See, many of you are teachers, and many of you, I have heard this. I usually talk in the FM radios about education. So that's one common complaint usually that comes. All these teachers, they will put their children in international schools or very posh, elite schools because they want a very different learning environment. But when they come to their own school, how much do they practice? This is the question they ask to me as teachers, and we'll be debating. No, we are also doing all those things. But why then the teachers themselves go and put them in a very elite, put their children in the elite schools or international schools? Why not in an ordinary school where we are working or ordinary college where we are working? Okay, because in many schools still they practice the traditional method. That's the reason. Because when we practice the traditional method, we'll be doing a colossal damage to these young brains, my dear friends. So what is it? We have to shift the role from a lecture mode to discussion mode. We should identify ourselves as a facilitator, not a lecturer. Now every class should be divided into small groups, and we should give some collaborative work, and we should be able to they should be able to do multitasking, and it should be student-centered instruction and differentiated instruction, not a common instruction. And you might have heard about the recent pedagogy. It's a very interesting area, pedagogy. The recent pedagogical method is no longer the chalk and talk method. Even now I am doing only the old method, chalk and talk. That's why I tried, instead of chalk, I see a screen and screen maybe. I just screen and see the screen and screen. No, that's actually a kind of modern version of lecturing. But it should be interactive. So to satisfy that only, I gave you a small exercise using Mentimeter. 8 of you could enter out of 106. Okay. Sorry if it is offensive. I was expecting more answers. I don't know why I got only 8 answers on the screen. Little disappointed. But you just give this exercise to your children, school children. Just take it as a challenge. They may not be knowing Mentimeter or anything. You do the same thing. Go and give this challenge. All the students will plunge in and give you the answer. So that is the difference. You please try and challenge me. You can mail me and see, ma'am, no, it's not like that. You send me the feedback, ma'am, we tried. Yeah, it was amazing. All the kids entered into this menti.com and gave the answer quickly. They are amazing. They are amazing. So therefore, it should be a student-centered instruction, not a teacher-centered instruction. Because I do not know Mentimeter, I cannot be doing a usual method of assessment. But the students, they can very well adapt and get the knowledge of any app that you use to teach them. Okay, this is a very important information, friends, I wanted to tell you. So therefore, if all our classroom environments shift to this 21st century classroom model, then really our Indian children will be very different and very the brain that they have, no, it's amazing. Only thing is we need to challenge them, that's all. They want only that, nothing else. So now I would like to say that the classroom environment is not something, a place where the students will simply learn something and reproduce. No, definitely not. It's a place where where an opportunity is given to them to think, okay, to kindle their mind. And you know, they should have a deep learning process. And I have indicated a word, aha moment. Aha, okay. Friends, all of you want you to recall. All of you are teachers and you have crossed your school education and college education, and now you are doing the next thing. Just a few of you, you can turn on your video and share even, okay? It is interactive, we'll make it interactive. You get prepared. I just want only 3 experiences. See, you just think about the moment, your education, not in your profession, as a student. You just share me one moment where you felt very elated and happy in your classroom, okay? Happy about your learning. And can you just share me your feeling? That's what I call as aha moment, okay? Shall we? Any 3 of you, could you please share your feeling? The aha moment, where you felt very happy being a student in a classroom, particular classroom of a teacher. And why did you feel that way? Yeah, I'm just asking any one of you to come share quickly. Any one of you, the participants, you can just unmute yourself and talk. You need not show up your video. Can you share that aha moment in your life? Please? Nobody? I'm just waiting eagerly to hear from somebody. Yeah, you are writing in the chat box.
നമ്മളിപ്പോ തിരുവനന്തപുരം വരെ മുതൽ കാസർഗോഡ് വരെ കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് നമ്മളിപ്പോ കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് അടയ്ക്കുന്നവരുണ്ട്.
Okay, I think I could see some silence. I don't know why. Maybe you are all teaching. First job. No. I'm not meaning the job. That's what I told you. Not the profession, I mean. The aha moment in your classroom as a student.
Greetings to you, ma'am. Greetings to you, ma'am. May I speak now?
Yeah, please, you can introduce yourself and speak.
I am Monica William, BD Max from Kundratur Girls Higher Secondary School, Chennai. Ma'am, this aha moment is whenever the children pour the love on me, that is the aha moment. Whenever the children solve the puzzles, that is the aha moment. Whenever the students teach me, that's the aha moment. Whenever I learn more things from my students, that's the aha moment. Whenever I learn something new and something excited of their behavior, this is the aga moment. I can say so many aga moments. Due to time constraint, I live with this map.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, you can mute yourself. No, that's fine. It's fine for coming out with your answer. Now, I think she has shared her aha moment as a teacher. That's fine. That's fantastic. I just wanted the aha moment as a student. In your student life, what is the aha moment I was asking?
Ma'am,
shall
I speak, ma'am?
Yeah. Sure. What is your name? Please introduce.
Myself, Dr. Vinci Abraham. I'm working as a department head in Lessa College, Kozhikode, Kerala. I'm from Kerala, ma'am.
Okay.
Whenever I think as a student, I felt elated always. Whenever I get an appreciation from my teacher, whenever that used to be my aha moment.
Fine, fantastic. Somebody has written in the chat box that Lakshmi, somebody has written, when I just read that, the biology, whenever I'm able to read the thank you, Vinci Abraham, that's fine, fantastic. I will collate your point and other point along with that. Somebody has written that whenever I was able to pronounce the biology word properly and the teacher appreciated, I go, yeah. You see, okay, somebody said first rank in the state level, somebody after the exam good marks. But many of you are mentioning that whenever I am appreciated by my teacher, whenever I was identified to do something good, I am worth, okay? That's really touching, okay? Which means that you are associating that aha moment feeling with your teacher. So this is because the teacher has given you that particular experience, it becomes an aha moment. You see, when you distribute your paper, okay, if you call name by name and say, and turn paper by paper and spend some time to say a best positive word to each child, then it would be an aha moment. Rather than simply reading the marks, 80 out of 100, 60, 70, you have only got only 40, 30, 20, why you have done so poorly? If that is the way we do, then there won't be definitely no aha moments for the students with you as the teacher. But rather, if you take each paper and say, okay, fantastic, your writing is good, very legible handwriting, but still, mark could be a little more, fine, have it. And somebody has got 90, 95. Oh, awesome, fantastic. Try to keep it up, mark. Especially your answer for this question, superb. So they will be taken off, the students. And like this, unknowingly, you will be touching each student in your life. That will be an aha moment for each student. You do not know the impact that you are creating on a child. Okay? I will tell you in the end of the slide. Okay? I can also share my own experience later. So this is a positive aha moment. But there are some disastrous moments for disaster moments for the students also by the teachers. So even if you do not appreciate, that's okay. Even that is okay. But when it does not damage the students by any single word or hurt them, because it will be everlasting, engraved in their mind. It has happened to me. It turned my life like anything. And actually, it was, in a way, it was positive. Because that turned my life into a passionate teacher. Okay, I should not hurt others like this. I learned from one of my experiences. So, teachers, the simple words that you talk, kind words that you talk, really it has an impact on them. You will speak and come out of the class, but they will carry it forever in their life. So that is what I'm trying to mean by this aha moment. So as a teacher, we need to create as many aha moments as possible for our students rather than simply making them to memorize the subject and try to reproduce it in the form of examination. Yes, of course, that is required. As if the system requires that, we have to do. But then that is one side. Also spend more time to develop this aha moments for the students. So all of you as teachers, you know this Bloom's taxonomy. And I'm just going back to the next slide, because in the Bloom's taxonomy, the lower level, remembering, understanding, applying, they are lower order thinking skills. Okay? And most of the time, our school education or higher education gives us only lower order, develop only lower order thinking skills, nothing else. I can very well say. Then this analyzing, evaluating, creating higher order thinking skills. As individuals, we develop on our own from our experiences. Okay? We might have got good marks. Somebody said JRF qualified in the chat box. The aha moment was after qualifying the JRF. Yes, in chemistry also, when I wanted to do research in IIT Madras, I should qualify myself in the CSIR, JRF or GATE. I got All India rank cert 63 in the GATE examination. It was an aha moment. But even then, after doing all those things, I didn't know many things when I started doing research. To be very frank, not even the fundamental concepts, I was shaky. But then how did I get good ranking then? Because most of the time, 80% of it will be testing only the lower order thinking skills, and I would have got good marks. Very few questions will test the higher order thinking skills, which I might have ignored, and that hasn't affected me much while studying. But while doing a research, or while doing a job, or while facing a day-to-day life crisis, none of the lower order skills will come to help us. Using the lower order skills, we have to apply everything in our day-to-day life or job, at home, or in our society, wherever we go. Only the higher order thinking skills will help us to be a very successful person in life. Okay? I have a lot to share. Time is going, like, I'll go to the next slide. So this is what I mean. Now, the 21st century demands on common man, a common man lifestyle, Indian scenario. So now you know, I'm a chemistry teacher. I cannot say that I don't want to learn commerce or economics. I don't want to learn about agriculture. I don't want to learn about electronics. No, I cannot say that. If I want to buy a good mobile phone or a laptop for myself, I need to know a little bit of electronics, hardware, software details, so that I can go and buy a good device and use it properly. If I don't try to learn something out of my subject, then I will end up with some device given by the marketer, the marketing people, and I will misuse it and I will spoil the device. Rather, I need to read some materials related to that and develop my own knowledge and then go. Similarly, I need to, when GST was introduced, we were all confused on how to go about. I need to learn a little bit of economics. When online shopping was introduced, I need to learn a little bit of e-commerce. And today, at the corona backdrop, everybody, we have become doctors on our own. We are able to diagnose ourselves. We are able to give medicines ourselves. So we have become self-practicing people, doctors. And whenever I eat something, I should know whether it has a pesticide or anything. How do I wash it, and what is the method? What is the effect of this on my health? I should know some amount of agricultural chemistry, organics farming, what not? How to save water, water management, environmental management, pollution management. So I cannot say that I have studied only English literature. I'm not interested in all these things. So then you will end up in a problem, not others. So whatever I have studied, I need to expand my horizon of knowledge and keep reading again and again and again, so that I can face the challenges, day-to-day challenges that is emerging in this society. Okay? Okay. I don't need any title for this, actually. So now it is very apt. So all these are nothing. Okay, all these are nothing. It's not at all a challenge compared to the present one. So now you see completely a different scenario. Nobody has expected. And now we are facing it. We need to face this. And who will be a successful person in this? One who is able to adapt to this change. So according to Charles Darwin, not the smartest, the most intelligent species that survives in this world. Not at all. It is the species that is very adaptable only survives. The adaptability is very important. Willingness to learn new things and getting ourselves equipped is very important. And in this process, okay, so my query is, what next? So today is Corona. Tomorrow we don't know. Definitely don't know. Maybe today's situation may be better than what is in store for us in future. We don't know. We don't know how the world is going to be in another 10 years or even next year. So therefore, this is a very uncertain life that we are leading. So now I again go back to the higher order thinking. So in this backdrop, definitely higher order thinking skills should be developed among our children. So we have to empower our students to face the real world challenges, solve new problems, develop positive attitude towards life, adapt themselves to the rapidly changing global trend. Not rapidly changing, exponentially changing, I would say, because of this Corona pandemic, okay? So, which means that they should be lifelong learners and skilled decision makers. So now as a teacher, I am plunging into new areas of online education. I am trying my hand with new assessment tools, new content delivery methods, everything based on technology. And I'm trying to make the students very interactive even in this online mode. How good am I as a teacher in online also? Okay, so now that is a challenge for me, for you, and for everybody in this profession. Are we going to read out the same material monotonously to the students? Definitely not. So how do we change ourselves? And when in this process of changing ourselves, we also influence the life of the student. We become an influential person in the life of the student. That is more important. Let me share one simple experience so that I don't know whether you will, maybe some of you might have doing it already. Every class, we can make a small difference in our every day-to-day lifestyle, dear participants. So I go to this I started a few years back. I go to the class. When I take the attendance, I just simply don't read the numbers or read.
Sridevi ma'am? Lakshmi ma'am? Participants, I think she's having some network issue, so kindly bear with us and we will try to connect her now. Lakshmi ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I think she's in online or disconnected, ma'am.
I think she's having some network problem, ma'am.
Yes. Shall we wait for a few minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, I will make a call.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, Sridevi ma'am has left the meeting.
Yeah.
Disconnected.
Yeah, ma'am, she's back.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
No
That's
problem,
okay,
ma'am. No problem. You're
This
waiting.
is again an interruption. Friends, this is a challenge in this online
Yes,
thing.
ma'am. Yeah.
This is because
this happened
the
nowadays. Yeah.
I quickly switched on. Am I audible to you, friends?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Now I will share.
Sure, ma'am.
can go? Lakshmi?
Yes, ma'am.
How long we can go? How many more minutes left out?
No problem, ma'am. Take your own time for finishing, for completing this, all the slides, because
Yeah.
it was very
Another 15 to 20 minutes?
No problem. Carry on, ma'am. Carry on.
Okay. So therefore, I was just talking something. Where did I leave? Yeah.
When we spoke about attendance.
Same slide, ma'am.
Yeah. You're very attentive. Yeah, because I was very eagerly waiting to share my experience, and I just got cut.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes,
Please
ma'am.
help me to pick up from where I left. That's nice. So I just, for so many years, 10 to 15 years, I was taking attendance only by calling the name. Then one fine day, I just changed because I got an input from one session like this. Rather than calling their name, I said, girls, when I say number, say not one, when I take attendance, instead of you saying yes ma'am or present ma'am, tell one positive feeling that you have today. If you do not have a positive feeling, you just say yes ma'am or present ma'am. Just leave it. Let us not have a negative word. Which means that I'm happy ma'am, excited ma'am, overwhelming ma'am, eager ma'am. You know, students were very, even college students, usually we say the college students won't respond and they don't respect teachers and nothing like that. Okay, they will be eagerly waiting for me. Even if I forget, say, ma'am, after some long break, if I go and start saying, not one, ma'am, wait, ma'am, we need to describe ourselves today. Then I'll be, okay, carry on. And you know, in a class of 40 or 45, I'll get nearly 40 positive words in the within few minutes. And that positive energy will take the whole class in a very different plane, and the students will be with me throughout. Will be throughout. And I have a lot of break. I will give them short breaks, and they'll interact, and they will ask why this is, why not this, ma'am? What you have said is wrong. You can do it that way. I give them 100% freedom to talk in the class. And you know, when we accept our mistakes, what we do in the classroom while we are teaching, they have more respect for us rather than trying to manipulate our mistakes. If I say, oh, sorry, girls, somehow I derived it wrongly. This is not the way it should be done. It should be done. The next class, I'll go and explain. And their respect goes up like anything. Okay. So, which means they are not the subject that you are teaching. They are looking at you as a person. So the values that you carry, how you project in front of those students, that matters. And after my children, my own children, they say, whenever we go to a common place, a temple or cinema hall or malls or vegetable shop, at least I will see 2 or 3 students coming, Sam, how are you? Are you still doing that, this? They will ask. Which means they don't remember the chemistry that I have taught, but the way it has been taught, the values that has been taught through that chemistry remains forever in their mind. So that, and you know, sometimes when we see our teachers in the public place, I remember in my school days, most of the teachers, I'll just go and hide. I just don't want to see them in the public place, except a handful of teachers or very few teachers. So I decided that I should not be a teacher like this. If a student sees me somewhere in a crowd, she should run to me and say, ma'am, do you remember me? If I have done that, that is the aha moment or the successful moment for me in my career. Not that I have made somebody great in chemistry without any value. So that is also required. That is also required. Definitely it is required. Subject skills are very much required. But then when values are added, when subject skills alone teacher. But to transform yourself as a leader, you have to be very careful with all the points that we have been discussing so far. So I can describe so many such things that I have started practicing. Not that I also entered as a very raw teacher into my classroom, just defining and writing on the board and very strict. If somebody talks or whispers, shouting at them, I was a very typical traditional teacher. Later, I gave up everything one by one. I transformed, and I can say that point only I became a leader in my classroom. I'm influencing my students. The simple definition that we had in the beginning, I'm able to influence the students towards a common goal. Okay, so this is what I would like to emphasize. Yes, we can become a leader if we practice all these values with our students. So higher order thinking skills definitely make them lifelong learners and skilled decision makers. So far I have been talking about the soft side of a teacher to become a leader, the hardcore. So, okay, when you want to develop your leadership, you can also have the other important these are some qualifications I would rather say. Instructional leadership, policy leadership, association leadership. Quickly, if I look at the definition. So instructional leadership, yes, I was sharing, no, we can excel as a teacher. Okay, I know some teachers are very good, very sound in their subject. They'll keep on deriving or solving problems. Anything that we ask, they'll be able to do. But they'll be very autocratic. They don't like the students to point out to them, ask any doubts. Even if they have any clarification in the mark answer script, ma'am or sir, you haven't given one. No, I know what I have done. Then in that case, no, you will not be a leader for that student. You will be a good teacher, excellent teacher in fact. They will remember you for your subject, but not as a role model, as a leader role model, definitely not. Okay, so the instructional leadership goes beyond being a great teacher in the classroom. Okay, so we have to develop a lot of other additional skills to become a very good instructional leadership. And you know, the true leaders, teacher leaders in the field, don't keep their successful techniques to themselves, but rather share their findings to benefit students in other clubs, share their experiences with other teachers, share their experiences with other colleagues, friends, or in the same field, so that others can also follow and do it. They don't keep it themselves in a very secretive way. Okay, so this is called the instructional leadership. And policy leadership, whenever the country or the school or the state are making policies, we should be able to talk on it, comment on it, try to give our ideas, views about it. So when teachers are willing to use based on your rich experience, you can do this. You can write articles, you can share your feelings. Now, the national education policy that we are discussing, you can discuss it. You can try to find out the positive aspects of it and project it as a teacher. And when teachers are willing to use their experience to make a difference at a policy level, our education system can begin to shape more effective standards and regulations that will adequately support students' learning. Rather than criticizing any policy, rather than trying to only putting the negative side or trying to read in between the lines of some policy, if we can try to bring the positive out of it, then we are good. We have a very good policy leadership skills, I would say. Okay. So see, right now, I'll just tell you what is the problem that happened in between. To be very frank, I don't have a power. When the power goes, I don't have that power supply, alternate power supply, because the battery was got over and it, for a few days before it stopped working, and I need to change my battery. But it's I cannot postpone this program until the battery gets changed. But then I had that fear. Suppose in between if the power goes off, how do I manage? So, but that I never developed that negative feeling. I was ready with my mobile hotspot. I should switch over. I just trained my brain to face this challenge if the power fails in between this important session, and it failed actually. And then I was not panicking, and I coolly switched over. I know what is the problem. So the skills, the positive skills to review and the situation and come out of it is very important. And association leadership, when educators understand how to create and guide meaningful collective action, we are demonstrating association leadership. So this is with something, how do you associate with your colleagues in your own department, in your school, in your same subject or whatever it is. Okay, it's very important. You cannot be a isolated person and try to achieve something great. No, share your knowledge, give your knowledge with others. This is very important actually. So association leadership. So this is three important hot capsules for you to develop. So many of us might have. So some of us might have one or two. but we can try to improve ourselves on all these areas. So what is overall central competencies that we require to be a leader in our own profession, teaching profession? So we should have a reflective practice. Okay, that's what I said. We should review ourselves. Okay, that I like this statement very much. We should always compare ourselves with the dash. Can any one of you tell? Compare ourselves with whom?
Our own past.
Yes, with our former self. That is a very important, friend. We are not here to compare ourselves with another teacher who is very brilliant in some area. Oh, I should compete her. I should overcome. I should be able to do better than. Okay, you can learn from her definitely, but that is not the way of comparison. Self-reflective practice you should have. Compare yourself with your former self. So before this corona, how I was as a teacher, I used to think I didn't know that so many tools I was not aware of. But now I'm able to learn so many things. Good, I have improved. Okay, still I need to improve. Still I'm learning every day how to conduct my classes in a different way using this online mode. So this Mentimeter I used for my students. They enjoyed like anything. Okay, and I also got thrilled. And I'm trying with different tools of assessment. And like this, so many. You can explore on your own. So I have improved the pre and post pandemic period. I have improved. So reflective practice, personal effectiveness. Yeah. So that's it. That you just evaluate your own strengths and weakness and try to improve that. Interpersonal. So personal is within yourself. Interpersonal, you just see how you are with your friends or your fraternity, nearby fraternity. Are you friendly? If anybody sees you, are they feeling happy about you? Just think about it. Okay. These are something that are reflective things that you should see. If somebody is feeling happy when they see you, then okay, your interpersonal relationship is good. And if the students see, when you enter into the classroom, no, if the student's face become very bright, then it means a lot to you, my dear participants. That I developed actually. Usually I don't. All these I developed only. Let me tell you, I was a very raw and crude teacher, to be very frank, very typical traditional teacher. And then slowly I gave up. And this is another thing that I gave up. Entering into the classroom with a stiff face and a stiff body and going. I just enter into a group of friends as if I'm going to check. Hi girls, how are you? How are you? Why so much of noise? Ma'am, they all come to back. And some girl will come late. Why, ma? No, ma'am, I was in the restroom. Okay, fine, get in. And somebody will go, come. And after some time, they themselves will settle on. Nothing like shouting or punishing or making them to stand outside. Nothing. In due course, they will learn on their own what to do, what not to do in a classroom by looking into our practice. Okay. I say I appreciate all the students who are in the classroom when I enter. I'm very happy about it, students. I say this positive, not the 3 students who are coming late, okay, and automatically those 3 also will enter into the class after that. So that's looking at problem from a different perspective. And communication, you all know, we need to have a very, I don't mind that we should have, I don't mean that you should have a very sound in your language, nothing like that. The tone is important. What you speak is important. It should not be a very oratorical skill. You don't need to have a great oratorical skill, nothing like that. Whatever you speak with consciousness, that's all. Then you should be a continuous learner. You should keep learning, and that's what I told so many times. And you should be able to work as a group, team worker. You should be a very good team worker, especially in the department. When you are given a task, you should be able to work with a team. You can do great things as a single person, but see, before becoming the head of the department, I can do anything on my own. I will finish it off. But when we are put as a team, it takes time. Oh, yes, of course, I need to collect everybody's view and go slowly. But I can go slowly, but I can go to a long distance. That's matter. Okay, but I'm moving with my team, which is very important leadership quality. I need to move only along with my team. I cannot go way before. and I don't say everybody follow me, then that is an autocratic leadership. Okay, so I cannot be. Sometimes, you know, when you work in a group and there's a problem to solve, especially we have a department work and we have a group exercise, I very well know the answer for the question or the answer for the problem. I have everything, I know, I have it in my mind. But because I'm the head of the department, I cannot go and dictate, let us do like this. I cannot give points for all and say, you please go and execute. Nothing. Just go sit quietly with 10 or 11 staff members and just say, this is the problem. How are we going to solve it? And slowly listen to the other's view one by one, and pick out the point which is in alignment with your solution and try to facilitate that person's idea. Oh, person A, that seems to be good. What about friends? Oh, why don't we talk on that? Why don't we look the problem from that side? Okay. So now you see, the solution that you have for a problem should be derived from your members. You should not give the solution all the time. And then you give a beautiful shape for your problem, the solution for the problem. So, and then everybody feels happy about it. Okay, in today's discussion, I gave a very important point to arrive at the solution. And another person, this is my solution. And they all feel they own the process, they own the exercise, and you go happily. Because what the solution you had in mind, you derived from your own colleagues. It's a knack or the trick to be a leader when you take a leadership position as a teacher. And similarly, you can do it in the classroom also. As a teacher, when we speak, you know, you divide group discussion, put them in groups. You give them some question, you know the answer, but you don't say the answer. When they say wrongly, don't shout at them. Just say, try to derive the answer from their own mouth. Okay, so there are two aspects. So I can be a leader to my colleagues, and how do I perform? I can also be a leader to my students in my classroom. But both require the same skills, let me tell you, dear participants. Then adult learning. Yeah, as I told you, I am 50 years old, but I need to learn the mind of my 20-year student in the classroom. That's a 30 years generation gap. So I cannot say that, I cannot just push my 50 years of feeling to a 20-year young brain. Just adapt to that 20-year young brain, okay, 20-year-old brain, and try to catch up the spirit and enthusiasm of that brain. And don't make that 20-year brain to drain into a 50-year-old brain, okay? So adult learning, learn the feelings of the adults, and accordingly, you can develop yourself. In this case, actually, you will be a very good parent also, okay? So we need our children. So many parents are feeling it very difficult to handle their children because they do it in the reverse way. Get into them, play. So if you say that, don't play this game, that game, you keep instructing them. They don't listen. Rather, you get inside, go with them, try to play along with them, and just say this way, that, and they'll be very much happy. Come on, let us play together. There is some group games, no? So then finally, you just slowly you try to inculcate the positive value and try to bring them out of it and introduce them another world, rather than simply staying outside their world and saying that this is wrong, that is wrong. Okay, so adult learning is very important. And of course, technological facility. You have to enhance your the technology part of your skill. We cannot say that I do not know that, I do not know this. You have to learn it at any cost if you want to be a teacher for the next generations that are going to come with all the more device-oriented children. Okay, highly digital learner students, children will be getting in our classrooms. At that time, we cannot say that okay, I'm not very convenient with this, that, and don't simply following the traditional ones. Okay, so upgrade yourself frequently and keep abreast of the technological development. Okay, and therefore put together all these things. I just have these 4 leadership qualities are very important. Teacher as a knowledge provider, resource provider, curriculum provider, instructional provider. So in general, I call the teacher as a resource provider. This is one side of a teacher being a leader, and then teacher being a so no longer teaching, facilitate. So you know, nowadays many things we facilitate, and we also learn from the students. We are also learners. I can say that the facilitator definition is very old, my dear friends. Now the new definition for a teacher is co-learner, which means you learn so many things you can learn so many things from your students. When I open some PPT or videos and so on, then the students say, ma'am, you have to do like this and that and get it. And they will do. I say, oh, great, come and do it, ma'am, for me and teach me. And she will teach me. Wow, I got something new from you. Okay, so which means that you are learning from your student. You should be very happy enough to learn from your student, and you should acknowledge or appreciate the student for that skill. Don't think that why should I learn from my student? So facilitator has gone a way beyond to co-learner. That is it. Then mentor. I know, okay, a very special word. That's what I was speaking in the beginning. When they come and see you after so many years, when they come to you running, ma'am, how are you? Which means you have been a very good mentor to your students. Okay, I will share some more things on this word if time permits. And then catalyst for change. Okay, you all know, being a chemistry person, catalyst. A catalyst, what is the role of a catalyst? Can you define any one of you, please? What is the role of a catalyst in a chemical reaction?
To enhance the speed of the reaction.
Okay. So what happens to the catalyst?
It will not involve in the reaction, ma'am. It just speed up the reaction that happens, ma'am.
So the catalyst remains as such, isn't it? It is not involved in the reaction. It doesn't undergo any change. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much. In olden days, they compared the teacher profession with ladder, candle, because the teacher is like a candle. The teacher makes everybody to climb and go, but they remain wherever they are. According to a chemistry teacher, I define the teacher as a catalyst. Speed up the reaction, but it never undergoes any change. It remains as a catalyst, but it does a great job, a wonderful job by enhancing the productivity of the reaction, yield of the reaction. So we should be like that. Every student who comes into the classroom, you know, like they are entrusted to us, okay? And when they go out of our hands, they should go enriched. That should be our policy, starting and ending, okay? Which means we have been a catalyst to them. And another important, I was, see, all these feelings are already there in my experience, in my feelings. What I plan to talk is, the words that are coming to me is very different actually, because whatever I have been thinking over the past few months in the Corona period, it's all coming out of my feelings. I was thinking like this, see, if you compare, and during this Corona period, you compare all professions, This profession alone is still giving a positive energy amidst this negative scenario. All other people are scared to go out to do work and worried or feel very fed up. And this profession, still, I am the same teacher with the same enthusiasm, except that I'm sitting in a room with my laptop and talking. That's all. But I have the same energy. Nothing has disturbed me, this Corona, okay, this lifestyle has never put down my spirit. So I think this profession is really different from the other noble professions. The other one, what is the other noble profession? Two professions are very noble. One is teaching profession. Another one is
doctor and police.
What is the other noble profession?
Medicine is the well-known noble profession.
Am I audible?
Medicine is the well-known noble profession, ma'am.
Medicine, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Not only doctor,
for
all the medicinal practices, from the Siddha to everybody and the paramedical persons and who are involved in medicine, everybody should be treated as a noble profession. It's my view.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
So now, to police. Police.
Generally, when we say noble professions, we call these two professions as noble professions: the medical field and the teaching field. Because we are dealing with human beings and their lives. But out of the two, I think doctors will kill, they will not accept. I will say that this teaching field is nobler than the other one because the doctors, you know, they are dealing with patients and they are not dealing with healthy mindset, disease, patients, worn out, negative environment. Amidst that, they are saving the life. Really, it's very challenging for the doctor. But you imagine teachers. To a doctor, a patient comes and he heals, and that's a noble profession. To a teacher who comes, a very healthy mind, a healthy person comes to you. And then what you are expected to do? To a doctor, a very ill health person comes and he makes them healthy. For us, we receive very healthy person, young brains, cheerful brains come to our classroom. And when they go back, how should we make them feel? That's very important, friends. We should make all the more. We should have enhanced their energy level all the more. So this is more challenging and this is more noble than the other one. Okay, dealing with a more positive mind and positive energy. I think I'm trying to make them still more positive. Okay, and that's, I really enjoy this profession every second. So now we have a few tips to become an effective teacher. Just you can enjoy, relax and enjoy the pictures. Nothing to discuss. I'm just sharing some of my ideas. When you go as a teacher into your classroom, okay, be organized. Have clear objectives, what you are going to speak. If you are not clear with something on that day for some reason, you couldn't prepare anything on that day, let us assume. It happens to everybody. You had some problem in the family, something went on wrongly, and therefore you couldn't get ready for your class. And my advice is, don't teach on site. Don't teach something, okay, very clear. So you should practice at least twice or thrice the previous day night before you go to your classroom, and then talk freely what you want to deliver. So have clear objectives, not any unnecessary words, okay, unnecessary examples, stories, nothing like that. But you can still make your class very interesting, okay. Think about that way to make interesting your class. Go with confidence, okay. The way you enter the class itself should make the students energized. Oh, great, today is going to be great. That is the feeling that they should get by looking at you. Analyze the audience. So look into your classroom, mood, emotions, it's very important. Use examples, stories, case studies. Be positive and create interest, okay? Your students should be like this. Something very exciting is going to happen today, okay? What is that? This man's class. So how do we go along, get along? I do not know. That should not be the conversation. I usually walk. I don't climb the staircase or anything. I don't use lift. I just walk along with the student group when I move from one class to another class. And then I just used to listen what the students are speaking about the previous class and the class they are going to attend. They'll be also moving. I get different feedback. No, all these things I just take it for myself and try to improve myself. That's all. Okay, and be innovative and creative. Okay, very important. Use simple language. Any tough subject could be taught as simple as that. There is one famous channel, LMES. Let's make engineering simple. I used to watch that. Awesome. Okay. How can somebody do it in such a simple way? Okay. LMES. Let's make engineering simple. Then my children used to say, we should start this, let us make chemistry simple. Can they say that? So however complicated the topic is, you can make it very simple by the way you are explaining it. I recommend all of you to watch that site video, LMES. Let us make engineering simple. Very tough concept. They will explain it in a beautiful way. I used to tell my children to watch that very often. That's what I mean. Use simple language. The good example is that video, that site. Go and look into it. Be clear in your understanding. Clarity is the key in teaching. Very important. Use humor. Yeah, somebody in the word, when I was doing the Mentimeter, they said we should make them feel happy. Yes, yes, very important. See the two faces, which is more attractive to you at this age? The humorous face, not the other one. Okay, so for children also, children are very younger to us, so definitely they like only this humorous face. So be very mindful of your emotions and expressions that you show on your face, and be interactive. Okay, be a 21st century teacher, a network teacher, and relate the subject. That's very important. This is what you mean higher order thinking skills. Don't teach something remote. Connect it with the day-to-day science that is happening in the world. Read as many magazines and science newsletters if you are a science teacher or any other subject. Okay, you try. So you cannot teach something abstract. Connect it with the real world. What is happening? Okay, that's why I said be a continuous learner. Okay, you should update yourself with the current technology. Avoid jargon. Okay, then don't carry the textbook to the classroom. Nobody carries just to have fun. Okay, maybe even carrying one book is not good. And then avoid repeaters. Okay, like, okay, yes, even I may be doing that mistake, but still cautiously we need to remove it. And finally, I come to this very important slide that I wanted to share. This is the butterfly effect. In physics, we have heard about the chaos theory. And this is in math, physics, chemistry, biology, everywhere this chaos theory applies in nonlinear systems. Okay? In chaos theory, there's one effect called butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is the sensitive dependence on initial conditions. That is, when a small change takes place, when there's a small disturbance in one place, it can just magnify and get amplitude and result in a bigger change in some other distant place. This is called a nonlinear change. Okay, and they have given one example. For example, the presence or absence of a butterfly flapping its wings. Let us assume that hundreds of butterflies are flapping their wings in one part of India. Then the effect that the 100 butterflies, they change their immediate neighborhood, which gets magnified, and it could lead to creation or absence of a hurricane in North India. This is true in nonlinear systems. This is true. So this is called the butterfly effect. Okay, what is the connection between my topic and butterfly effect? I did my PhD in nonlinear chemical systems. So I used to enjoy this effect. And when I developed my profession, I just connected. This is my own connection. Okay, so I applied this to my subject profession. So also the teacher effect. What is it? Teachers have a profound effect on their students' life. How today, 2020, in a classroom, I do something. I create an aha moment within my students. In 2040, when I'm traveling in a train or rushing to get my flight somewhere, and somebody holds me at my back, "Ma'am, do you remember me?" Then I just turn back and see, "I don't remember, my dear friend." Then she describes herself. She just reveals her identity and said, "Ma'am, this is what you did for me when I was in the class." Amidst that busy running life, she spends some time to come and greet you. So after 20 years, it gets manipulated and she comes and greets you. So this is what I mean by teacher effect, connecting with the butterfly effect. But at that moment, when the aha moment was created, you might not realize this. But it is very precious for the student. And you will feel that after so many years. So teachers have a profound effect on their students' life. So work little hard to make a big difference in your students' life. And that's where you qualify yourself as a leader. And you don't need a position, you don't need a power, you don't need an office room, or you don't need 10 people following you, nothing like that. You don't need a separate cabin, you don't need a separate phone connection, nothing. You can be a simple person and an excellent leader for your students. And you alone enjoy the benefits of being a teacher as a leader. And that is really something great in your life. Okay. And I have another interesting video to share with you. With that, we'll stop. And I have to go to Chrome tab. Yeah. Is it visible, Lakshmi?
Yes, ma'am. Actually,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Presentation is going on.
It's going. The video is going.
No, ma'am. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Now only it is visible.
Yeah, that's.
Monster Math
Sorry.
presents Addition Below 10. K-Class.
Ma'am, Monster Math. No, it is not visible.
No.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's not visible, right? Okay, I'll get ready with that. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, let us not waste the time. We can discuss. Meanwhile, I'll stop sharing and I'll work on the video. But I can listen to somebody if they want to ask any question or anything else, and then we can move. Okay, with this, I end my presentation. Let us have some interaction if you wish. Yeah. Thank you, friends. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity that you gave me to address a very learned group, the teachers, the sculptors, the great sculptors. Again, I go back to the Gurukul system and acknowledge you as a great. So when you do all these things, really we are a great sculptor. Okay, the leader becomes a sculptor then. Thank you, friends. Thank you, organizers.
Thank you, ma'am. I am Dr. Lakshmi, Assistant Professor, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. Before concluding the session and before handing over the session to a formal vote of thanks, let me let me take the opportunity to give formal few words from my heart. Ma'am, it gives a happy moment to see your curiosity and emotions in the session, ma'am. It shows that you are a good leader. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I feel pleasure to see different interesting slides that you shared, ma'am. We get to know your act of kindness as a teacher as well as a leader. We gain some positive power by attending, like sharing your knowledge with enthusiasm, ma'am. It was amazing. Each and every word is coming from your heart, and it helps in making your joy made double. Your presentation is so amazing, ma'am. You shared good points. Ma'am, you are outwardly expressive and sharing your knowledge, ma'am. Thanks a lot. And from wholeheartedly, I thank God also to bring you in this forum, ma'am, in our teacher education program. Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you, Lakshmi. I don't know whether I deserve so many thank yous.
No. From my heart only, I express all these words, ma'am. Davasuba, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. It's time to thank our resource person, our Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, our college, and the participants who made the session a grand success. I call upon Professor Ms. P. Priya, Assistant Professor in English, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Priya, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Good afternoon, all. It's my pleasure and honor to propose the vote of thanks. First of all, I thank the Lord Almighty for showering His blessings throughout the program. Next, I thank Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Teaching and Placement Cell, and VOC College of Education for organizing this program for the development of teachers. Next, I extend my gratitude to Professor Kavita, Assistant Professor of Physical Science, VOC College of Education, for her warm welcome address. Next, I express my special thanks to Dr. Sendil Kumaran, Assistant Professor in Educational Technology, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, for introduce the chief guest deliberately. Thank you, sir. Next, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our resource person, Dr. V. Sridevi, Head and Associate Professor, Department of History, Lady Doak College, Madurai, for her thought-provoking speech on teacher as a leader. Really, it was a vibrant session in bringing out the leadership qualities within us. You made us to recall our school days with the aha moment. You brought to us your own life experience and clearly explained the transformation of teachers into leaders. Thank you, ma'am, for the interaction, and it was an informative and valuable session. Your positivity was poured on us, and we assure to reflect it in our classrooms. Really, I was amazed to hear your words from beginning to end. It was a sisterly concern. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, I thank Dr. Davashubha, Assistant Professor in Mathematics, VOC College of Education, for being the program moderator, and Dr. S. Anthony Vinolia, Assistant Professor in History, VOC College of Education, for serving as the program controller. Thank you, teachers. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants who are principals, professors, research scholars, and students of various institutions in and around the continent for your valuable support and cooperation throughout the program. Thank you, one and all. Positively, let us meet tomorrow. Thank you. Over to Dava ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Priya ma'am. Thank you so much. And
Ma'am, feedback form is not working, ma'am. It is not responding.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we opened the feedback for half an hour. If you did entry later, you could have not submit the feedback form. That's the reason. You please ping me personally. Because the time.
No, I was there in WhatsApp.
Time limit is only half an hour. So for the past half an hour, we were posting in the chat. So yeah, not in the chat. WhatsApp. We were. Posting in the, just now it got closed. So please ping me personally. Yeah, we'll give you personally. Yeah. Thank you, Kamini Ganesh, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, participant. Thank you for your presence. Lakshmi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Sridevi, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Your session
Somebody
is
actually they were
marvelous.
they wanted,
yeah, some feedback is also given. I will post it in personally from my WhatsApp number to you.
Yeah. Lakshmi, I just have a request.
Yes,
somebody wanted maybe to clarify doubts or something. They wanted the email ID. I just have it in my first slide. I just included just now. Anything? Anything?
Ma'am, have you posted in chat box, ma'am? Have you posted in chat box? Shall I copy?
Personally?
Yeah. I have it in the first slide. I just.
Lakshmi, sorry, Sridevi, ma'am. Participants are asking for PowerPoint. PowerPoint.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, shall we share your PowerPoint presentation to the participants, ma'am?
Sure.
The
PPT is Sridevi at ldc.edu.in.
Sridevi, ma'am, somebody is asking your mail ID.
That's what I have projected. So, are you able to see the screen?
Yes. Ma'am. We will post the PowerPoint in the group, ma'am, if you permit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The first slide has the email ID. You can look into it.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. We will intimate them.
Yeah, sure. And also we can share. No problem. PPT. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Feedback, ma'am.
Yeah, Kamini Ganesh, ma'am. You please ping me personally. I will be giving you the link. No worries.
Okay. Should I pin to Sridevi, ma'am?
No. You please ping. Text to my WhatsApp number if you are in the group.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, participants. Thank you for your presence. So let's all meet tomorrow again at 10:30 a.m. Now you can please leave the room. Participants, you can please leave the room. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you so much. Sridevi, ma'am, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me a wonderful opportunity to share my feelings.
Thank you,
and whatever.
Thank you for your for seeing you in this forum. Thank God. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'll just talk to you later. Now I leave the session. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Davasuba, thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Participants, you can please leave the room.
Davasuba, super.
Vashigi, ma'am.
சொல்லுங்க மேம்.
Can you hear me? நல்லா போச்சு மேம். Thank you. நல்லா முடிச்சிட்டோம் இன்னைக்கு successfully.
பார்த்தேன். சூப்பர். கலக்கிட்டீங்க.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for it's all our teamwork. It's our teamwork. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for encouraging me.
Okay.
So afternoon we are having another session. Vashigi ma'am, உங்களோட voice break ஆகுது.
கேக்குதா இப்போ?
இப்ப கேக்குது.
சரி. ஓகே. ரெடி ஆயிருங்க. என்ன Davasuba?
கண்டிப்பா மேம். மத்தியானம்
ஹலோ தவா
மேம் கேக்குதா உங்களுக்கு?
நல்லா போச்சு.
ஓகே மேம்.
இடையில பிரேக் ஆச்சு.
Ma'am, unable to fill the feedback form, ma'am. Kindly.
Ma'am. Actually, we closed the feedback form, and that's what the issue right now. Because half an hour we kept the feedback link open right from 12 o'clock to 12:25, I think. So we are having some issues. You please ping me personally. I will give you the number. Link, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Because some didn't attend the whole meeting. I am actually having the meeting attendance list, and we will go through and will provide you, ma'am. That's the issue, right?
Yeah. I was live completely.
Yeah. No issues, ma'am. I'm ready to give you. Please come personally. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Dhanalakshmi, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Priya, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, Dava. Okay, thank you.
Priya ma'am, super.
Okay, da. Yes, ma'am. Vasugi, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Again at 2.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Bye. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, நீங்க சொல்லுங்க எத்தனை மணிக்குன்னு சொல்லுங்க. I will, ma'am. 2:15க்கு இது பண்ணட்டா?
2:15க்கு இவர் சீஃப் கெஸ்ட் வந்து உள்ள வரேன்னு இருக்காரு.
சரி, அப்ப 2:10 வாக்குல பண்ணிடுறேன். மேம் கேக்குதா?
சரி.
அப்ப 2:10 வாக்குல நான் பண்ணிடுறேன்.
கேக்குது. 2:15க்கு உள்ள வரேன்னு இருக்காரு. சரி. ஓகே.
மேம்.